Um, in this video, I want to go over how to solve a two-step equation. There are two steps here in order to solve for x. The goal is to get this x to be by itself. So we got to take care of the 12 and we have to take care of the 4. And then we can know what x is equal to. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get rid of this 12 by subtracting it from both sides of the equation. So always what you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other side of the equation. That is super important in order to keep your equation balanced or equal. Right, so this is an equation because it has an equal sign, and what you do to the left side of the equation, you must also do to the right side of the equation. So I subtracted 12 from the left side and from the right side. And now on this side, the 12s cancel. Positive 12 minus 12 is equal to 0. So they cancel and we get 4x is equal to 8. Now this is a one-step equation and you need to get rid of the 4. 4 is being multiplied by the x, so in order to undo that multiplication, to pretty much rewind, you want to do the opposite. The opposite of multiplication is division, so I divide both sides by 4, and then it'll cancel here, and you get x is equal to 2. So two steps here in order to get to the solution. A couple things I want you to be mindful of. So this first step, I subtracted 12 from both sides. I did it vertically, but you could also subtract horizontally. So you could do something like this. So notice here, just like here and here, I did the same thing. I subtracted 12 from both sides, but in this case, I did subtracted the 12 horizontally instead of stacking and subtracting vertically like that. Both ways are completely valid. In this case, 12 minus 12, right? We know that those cancel each other out, and so then you have 4x is equal to 8. The other thing that I want to mention to make sure that you are mindful of is that if you decide to multiply both sides of the equation by 1/4, that would be the same as dividing both sides of the equation by 4. So right here, 4x is equal to 8. Dividing both sides by 4 would be the same as multiplying both sides of the equation by 1/4. And this is actually, seeing it this way is actually really intuitive, pretty simple to see why it works in this case. 1/4 times 4x is the same as 1/4 times 4 times x. That's equal here to 1/4 times 8 over 1. So just rewrote it there. And then now this 4 is the same as 4 over 1. And then let me just clean that up just a little bit so it looks a little bit better. We have 4 over 1, that's the same as 4. And then when you have two fractions like this being multiplied, you just multiply the top numbers, the numerators, and you multiply the bottom numbers, the denominators. And then that just gets you 4 over 4 here. X is equal to, and then here we have the 8 over 2. And then 4 over 4 is 1, so this is the same as 1x. And that's equal to, I made a mistake here, this is 4. That's equal to 2, and then remember 1 times x is the same as x. So this is just x equals 2. Wanted to show you that both ways work. If you have 4x is equal to 8, dividing by 4 you get 2. Multiplying by 1/4 both sides, you get x is equal to 2, both cases. Just notice that those are the same. Don't get too scared of it if it's written this way or that way. It's the same thing. And then in this case also it's the same thing. Okay, so don't get too caught up with if written like this, it's the same thing as written horizontally. So I'm just going to show you one more example, just so we can see the pattern more clearly. So if you have, for example, 2x plus 4 is equal to 10, step 1, subtract 4 from both sides. So now on this side, on the left side, the 4's cancel because 4 minus 4 is 0. And you're left with 2x is equal to 6. Right? So getting rid of the 4 initially, it gets me one step closer to the x. And then here, I need to divide both sides by 2. And then ultimately, that'll get me to the solution. The 2's will cancel. And I get x is equal to 3. And I'll show you, I guess I'll just go through one more. 3x plus 3 is equal to 12. See if you can try and solve this problem on your own. Pause this video, try this problem on your own. So if you pause this video and you tried this problem on your own, you should have done step 1, subtract 3 from both sides to get rid of this 3. Right, we're trying to get to x. We're trying to figure out what x is. So if we subtract 3 from both sides, we're one step closer to the x. Now we get 3x is equal to 9. And then now we divide both sides by 3. X is equal to 3. So that's solving two-step equations. Hopefully that kind of showed you the steps and the process. And your homework is on these types of problems. So your homework looks like this, right here. Make sure to use equation mode to write your solutions. Right, so you want to, your problem is 4x plus 12 is equal to 20, and you want to subtract 12 from both sides. That's your step 1. Subtract 12 from both sides. And then now you get 4x on the left, and on the right side you get 8. And now we want to divide both sides by 4. It's a little bit, there's no option here to write there's no good option in Google Docs to write like this. 4x divided by 4 is equal to 8 over 4. So I would suggest to use this method where you multiply both sides of the equation by 1/4. So here you would want to go to insert fraction and then write down 1 and then hit the right key on your keyboard, write 4, type 4, and then hit the right key again to continue writing the rest of the equation. And then I'll insert a fraction again and do 1 over 4 multiplied by 8. And then from there you can do x is equal to 2. And then don't forget to color your work color other than red or black. And that's what your solutions should look like. Hopefully that cleared up how to do this worksheet and helped you understand how to solve two-step equations. Good luck with this worksheet, and let me know if you have any questions, any further questions in the future.